Hey guys, it's Sam here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we just got a little bit of like a talking head, I guess, more than anything else. Just gonna briefly talk about my, experience at the Head in the Clouds Festival. I had a great time first and foremost, and it was awesome if you were there. I know they live streamed it as well. I don't know what that stream looked like. I haven't watched any of that stuff back. I will, because there's definitely some performances that I missed that I wanted to go to myself, but we'll just start out with, day one, and I'm just basically gonna go through the lineup, if you will. And starting out day one, Saturday, first group, if you will, on the main stage. And Saturday we were pretty much just at the main stage all day Saturday. So we start off with Adarashi Gakko, and what a way to start the festival. Like, these girls came out, they had a great time, they were getting the crowd hyped. Warren Hugh came out and did the song that he did with them, which I can't think of the name of it, but I know I've seen some like the sumo wrestlers and stuff in their video and whatnot, and great way to start the festival. And then from there we go into where some of us were kind of like, do we stay here or do we go? Because some of us did want to go see Audrey Nuna on the other stage, but DPR was coming on after. And the way that it works, like, if you leave, you're not getting your spot back. It's just not gonna happen. And we had a good spot where we liked where we were at, for DPR and whatnot. So we ended up staying for Lil Cherry and Gold Buddha, who I had never heard of. There's a lot of people on both sides that I hadn't heard of either way, but let's, Lil Cherry and Gold Buddha, apparently they're somewhat like TikTok-ish famous, I guess. Their set was all right. I was more impressed with Gold Buddha. Had some good flow for the most part. Lil Cherry, I'm gonna have to say that the thing is out on her still, and that's for two reasons. Her mic was shit. That's not her fault, because she changed mics I think twice during the set, and it still just sounded terrible. And her in-ears fell out early, so she couldn't like necessarily hear. So I'll give her a pass. But it was kind of weird having someone that was like, quote unquote, that hype early in the day. But they did it again on Sunday with Warren Hugh around the same time, like early in the day too. But DPR was great. And then Jay coming out, and then after he left, they were like, that's DPR Ej now or whatever. So I think he changed his Twitter handle for like the night and then changed it back. But DPR was a great set too. And then we had Seori, who I'd never heard of, also somewhat TikTok-ish famous, but apparently she's done songs with Doja Cat, who, hey, I'm a boomer, I don't know who the fuck Doja Cat is. Doja Cat did not show up to the festival, or if she did, she didn't go on stage, I'll say, but I don't know. I mean, like, her stuff was fine. The one thing I didn't like was that, like, she just basically like used beats from like 15 years ago and just remade them, but it was the same beats that was, good, if that makes sense, a long time ago. But to her credit, she brought gifts for people. She brought like chains and shit and threw some chains out to some people and whatnot, but it was all right. And then who I think got done the dirtiest, CL. CL should have been a headliner closing this thing out on either Saturday or Sunday night. That's just the God's honest truth. CL had the best set, best performance out of anyone at the festival. You cannot change my mind. And honestly, just Saturday alone, between Adarashi Gakko, DPR, and CL, I feel like I got my money's worth. Like, that's the truth. I honestly feel like I got my money's worth just from those three sets alone. CL legit should have been the closing person on either Saturday or Sunday night. She threw it down, and it was a great performance. Still 4 days later, CL was hands down the best performance of that entire festival. It's not even close. It's not even close. Then after CL, we went to get food. If you've ever been to a festival, you know how it is getting food. The lines are long, it takes forever, it is what it is. So we missed Illenium. I didn't know who Illenium was, but being really into EDM as I was a few years ago, I kind of wish I was at his set, because there was a time where I went to 6 EDCs in a row. And just, we were a good ways back, but you could still feel that bass. And I was like, man, dude, I kind of wish I was up in that right now. But when you're hungry, and you got to make sacrifices. And that's one that we sacrificed, because we were like, it's just a DJ, it's a whatever. That being said, that's probably my That's one of my 2 regrets of the festival, is not being in there for Illenium. The other one I'll talk about in a little bit. But then Rich Brian. Some of us were kind of ready to go at that point because we were already kind of out of it. We were done. So some people left, and then I ended up staying and waiting, but I also waited towards the car. So I still got to hear his set, if you will. I didn't get to physically see it though. And it sounded fine. It sounded like they were having a good time. That's about as much as I can speak to Rich Brian. Nothing against Rich Brian or anything like that. You know, I caught a small piece, but we walked to the car and we were just kind of chilling, waiting for the couple dudes who did want to stay all the way through, which was fine by all means. Like, get your money's worth, right? And that's the end of day 1. We go home, we eat some more food because it's late, and that's what you do after festivals. You eat, and then you hang out and you do some more stuff. And then Sunday was where we were kind of divided. We had one guy who he went straight to the main stage. He was like, I'm not leaving here. He wanted a good spot for Keshi. That's who he came to see, most importantly for him. So he was in it. But this is where, and let me pull it up real quick. I got the set list. That's all I'm looking at. It's just set times over here. This is right where we were kind of like, what do we do? Because I kind of wanted to see Warren Hugh, and I heard a little bit of Warren's set, so it was tight, right? But then right here, this 430, 510 to 510, 540 mark was where I was in the most like straught of what do I do here? Because I really wanted to see BB. Like, hands down, I really, really, really wanted to see BB. But knowing that I really wanted to see Seori because of her voice, I skipped BB so that I knew I could get a good spot for Seori. And I'm not mad at that decision. Also, I'm slightly disappointed because I heard how hyped these dudes were going over here, especially Tiger JK and whatnot. And on top of that, BB went first. Like, out of the whole group, we didn't know when BB was going to perform because it was like a group set type thing. So we didn't know that she was going to do her stuff first. Had I known that, I would have gone to BB, because we had one guy, he went to BB and he still got up front with us for Seori because he left once BB was pretty much done. That's probably my biggest regret of the festival, is not being able to physically see BB like that. That being said, the guy who was there up front for Keshi and stuff, he got some videos for us and whatnot, and then he got some other girl that he was like kind of, it's not like talking to her or anything, but she was just there and she's like, oh, I got this other video, you want me to airdrop it to you? And he was like, yeah. So we got another point of view, if you will. But BB going crazy, BB jumping into not into the crowd, but jumping down off the stage and kissing 2 girls and shit, like BB doing BB things, right? But man, yeah, that's definitely my biggest regret, was not going to see BB, because she is one who I really wanted to see. But I really, and especially once Jay said that he was gonna go to Seori's set, I was like, I have to be up front for Seori, and I was. Seori set, incredible. Her voice is just as good live as it is on the studio tracks. Like, it's crazy how crazy her vocal is. And then like getting to meet her, which we'll talk about in a little bit, was also pretty surreal. You know, it was pretty cool. But we also saw Wallace. Since we skipped BB, we saw Wallace. Wallace is pretty cool. She's I'll say like sad girl vibes, but not like in like an overly depressing way, if that makes sense. But yeah, Wallace was pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna check out more of her stuff. She said she's got her first album coming out at the end of the month of November, that is. So I'm gonna look into that for sure. And then Seori. Like, Seori, like, I mean, she put on a great performance. Jay came out. If you follow my Twitter, I posted a pic and a small video of when he came out and did dive with you with her. I didn't take a lot of pictures because that's something that I've kind of always done anytime I've gone to festivals or concerts, is I don't really take a lot of pictures or videos because I like to just enjoy the moment. I know some people like to record so they can remember it, but my thing is, just for me, if you're recording it, you're kind of trying to pay attention to what you're recording versus the actual show. And you experience it differently. That's just my own personal thought. I have no, like, anybody can do whatever the fuck they want at the end of the day, but that's just my thing. Like, I choose to kind of just enjoy it more than anything else. But being that close to Jay and Seori, like not knowing that I was gonna meet her 2 hours later, like how could I, I had to at least get something, right? So after Seori, we start kind of walking over, or at least some of us start walking over for Keshi. A couple people stayed behind, not on purpose. They got approached by Seori's team, and they said, "Hey, will you do a small interview? Seori's gonna watch these." And he was like, "Hell yeah," and I was like, "God damn it, I wish I would have known that. I would have stayed." But we all thought that they just walked off too, because we were all up front. We were kind of split, if that makes sense. Like some of us were like middle, some of us were a little bit over more to the right. So we weren't like all together. So we just assumed everybody started walking towards Keshi, right? Keshi's set was cool, he played guitar towards the end instead of the whole set. A little disappointed in that, but hey, that is what it is, He played a cool set. And then Ish, like y'all already know, he was probably the main reason I was initially going. Was for Jay, right? Like, hello, it's Jay. I got to hear live basics vocals from Jay, from Ish. He sang a snippet of Zombie, and stuff like that. He was talking to the crowd as if it was his Twitch chat. A little bit cringe, but hey, it is what it is, right? I'll say, I think if you watch the live of it, I haven't rewatched it. I know I've seen some people post it already and stuff, but I'll probably watch it because live there was something wrong with his mic. It kept like peaking and cutting at certain spots. It didn't have like feedback per se, but it kept peaking and it was almost like slightly distorted. And maybe that's part of why he knew that he wasn't gonna do Pac-Man, because of that. But yeah, I just kind of felt a little bad for him on that front, but still, his vocals were still crazy. He did a couple ad-lib runs, and at a couple points, I mean, what can you do other than just smile and laugh at the dude's talent? And you're like, okay, dude, it's like that, right? I did slightly I didn't like cry, but I did slightly have like a little bit of like tear well up just being there with him and experiencing him doing what he loves, right? Like he was having a great time on stage. He had a great time on stage when he came with DPR. He had a great time on stage when he came out with Seori. He just had tons of energy, and he was feeling it, man. So then after Ish, we're all just kind of like on the come down, if you will, most of us, except for the one guy who's still, he's in it, like he's in it, And we text and we're like, hey, where y'all at? And my buddy who done an interview for Seori, not with Seori, but for Seori, like her team, says, oh, I'm in line to meet Seori. And I was like, wait, what? And so I just walk over to where they're at. Like I know, like he explains, he's like, you have to have a ticket, and they only gave out so many. And it was to the people who stayed back after her set was done. And I was like, fuck, dude. So anyways, I'm just kind of hanging out, watching them meet Seori and whatnot. And then the lady, I hear him say, hey, we're gonna run out of people, because she was only supposed to be there for a certain amount of time, and I guess they thought that it was gonna take longer. And so they started grabbing the handful of us that ran. It wasn't many of us, there was like 7 or 8 of us just kind of hanging around, not really with my group or whatever. We were just kind of there watching our other friends and people, and obviously some people I just been there just to see Seori. And they're like, hey, are you a fan of Seori? Do you want to meet her? I was like, fuck yeah, I do. So they let us in line. If you haven't seen that on Twitter, I posted that on Twitter as well. I got a couple pics with Seori. I got to meet her, gave her a hug. Like it was surreal. She's so tiny. She's so sweet though. But I gave her a hug and I was just like, hey, I just want to tell you that I think your voice is absolutely incredible. I love your songwriting style, and I will go see you in Korea when you have shows in Korea. Like, because the group of us that went to the festival, some of us were planning a trip to Korea before everything kind of happened, right? I guess it was during everything happening as far as COVID and shutdowns and everything. That being said, when lockdowns are over, we're all gonna plan to go to Korea anyways. So that wasn't a lie. And she's like, I want to do more shows here, and I was like, set them up, we'll be there, I promise. But yeah, it was really cool. Super sweet, and I think more than anything, she was just really humble and grateful to meet people from the States, right, who said that they were there to see her. Like there's this one girl we met, her name was Nancy. She got, so the gates opened at 2. We got there around 1:15ish. She got there at 10:30 in the morning, she said. And she went up to the second stage where Seori's playing, and she stayed there all day. Like, she's a diehard. And good on her, you know, she got to meet Seori and everything, like, good on her, right? But that, you like, there's legit people that were there just to see her. That's kind of crazy, and it's kind of awesome, and it kind of sucks that she got put on the second stage. I'm not gonna lie about that, but I was okay with it as well because I was legit right there and I didn't have to fight nobody for it. So during that's when Nikki's performing. Nikki's performing while we're over meeting Seori and stuff. So I only heard Nikki's performance. I didn't get to see any of it. It all sounded good, but I didn't get to see any of it. I'll watch that at some point since we watched her stuff on stream a while back when I was getting ready to go to the festival, excuse me. But I didn't see any of it. All I know is that she tweeted out and 88 Rising tweeted out like, hey, be there for Nikki's set because she's gonna blow it up, you know? And I missed it. But I missed it for a good reason. I got to fucking meet Seori and get a picture taken with her and fucking hug her. Like, hello, win. And then we had Joji to finish it off, man. Joji brought some energy, man. Joji was having a good time. Joji had a good set, you know, that's just the facts of it. You know, he had a good time. He was having some fun. And then the finale, you had Warren Hugh and Rich Brian come back out, get everybody re-hyped. You had Seori come back out and do Warriors with Warren Hugh. They did, Nikki came back out. They did, Midsummer Madness. The one thing that they didn't do, they didn't play Head in the Clouds. Like, it is what it is, right? But the finale was great. And I got to give a quick shout out to our driver. Y'all will sometimes see him if you ever join me on the Twitch side. We call him Gondo. His name is Gondolin. Sometimes he has an alt account called Choose Husband. That's just to piss off somebody else in our group. Gondo is a goated driver when it comes to getting out of festivals and traffic. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go into it any further. If you were there and you know, you know. If not, it's all good. But Gondo is a goat of a driver getting out of festivals and traffic. That's all I'll say on that. But, you know, that's it, man, you know. And then once it was over, we got back to the house. We chilled. We had some s'mores. Stayed up for a little bit. And then I basically took a nap. Woke back up and went to the airport super early. Flew back home. Changed. Literally just changed because my mom picked me up, and so I went to her. She picked me up because that's where my car was. She went back to her house. I changed because I brought work clothes with me before I left Friday morning. Changed and went straight to work. But I would do it again 100%. It was a great time. I regret absolutely nothing outside of missing BB. That one's gonna hurt. That one's gonna sting a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie about it. But either way, man, like, it was a great time. If y'all watched the live stuff, let me know how the live sounded. Like I said, I'll go back and watch them myself at some point, but let me know what y'all thought. If y'all watched the lives for either day 1, day 2, let me know who y'all's favorites were, like what performances you really liked. Did they show second stage performances, or was it only main stage performances? I don't even know. All aside though, CL did the dirtiest. She should have been a closing act. No offense to Joji or Rich Bryant, CL should have been the closer on either day, because CL was straight up heat, dude. Her set was so good. She was feeling it too. But either way, I think I've talked long enough. So if you stayed around to the end, thanks for sticking around to the end. Cheers to you guys. We'll see y'all in the next one.